The difference between earning more and winning. Most people believe the solution to their financial stress is simple: earn more money. A higher salary, a better job, another income stream. And for a while, that belief feels reasonable. When income goes up, life feels lighter. Bills are easier to manage. There's more room to breathe. Maybe even a sense of momentum. But then something strange happens. The pressure slowly comes back. Expenses rise. Expectations adjust. Time feels just as tight as before, sometimes tighter. That's when an uncomfortable question starts to form. If earning more is the goal, why doesn't it feel like winning? Many people in the US and the UK reach points in their careers where they're earning more than they ever imagined, yet they still feel financially constrained. Not broke, not desperate, just stuck, busy, dependent on the next paycheck. The truth is, earning more and winning financially are not the same thing, and confusing the two is one of the most common and expensive mistakes people make with money. This conversation isn't about working less or rejecting ambition. It's about understanding what progress actually looks like, and why income alone is a poor measure of it. This distinction matters because most people aren't failing financially, they're functioning. And functioning can quietly trap you for years. For many people in the US and the UK, financial life looks acceptable on paper. A steady job, a reliable paycheck, bills paid on time, maybe some savings or investing on the side. Nothing feels urgent enough to question. Nothing feels broken enough to fix. From the outside, it looks like progress. But underneath that surface stability, something feels off. Income may be rising, but freedom isn't. Time still feels tight. Stress doesn't disappear, it just changes shape. The pressure to keep earning never goes away, because everything depends on that income continuing. What makes this especially dangerous is how convincing it feels. Earning more creates short-term relief. It solves immediate problems. It quiets anxiety. And because life becomes manageable again, deeper questions get postponed. People assume they're on track, even if they can't clearly explain where the track leads. Over time, higher income often brings higher fixed costs, bigger housing payments, more commitments, lifestyle expectations that quietly raise the minimum income required just to maintain normal life. So while earnings increase, dependency increases too. This is why many people earning more than ever still feel stuck. They're not building flexibility, they're maintaining complexity. They've improved their standard of living, but not their position. The core issue isn't that earning more is bad, it's that earning more is mistaken for winning. Without structural change, income becomes a treadmill. You run faster, but you don't move much further. And until that difference is recognized, people keep chasing higher numbers without realizing the game they're actually playing. The reason earning more feels like winning is because the system rewards income growth long before it rewards freedom. From early adulthood, progress is measured in visible signals: higher pay, bigger titles, more responsibility. These markers are easy to track and socially validated. When income increases, people feel successful, not because their lives changed structurally, but because the numbers did. That feedback loop is powerful. Another root cause is how effort is rewarded. Most jobs are built on time-based exchange. You're paid for showing up, staying available, and taking on more responsibility. Even promotions usually increase income without changing the underlying rule: if you stop working, the money stops too. So people learn to associate progress with intensity rather than positioning. There's also a widespread misunderstanding about what actually compounds. Effort feels productive, but effort has no memory. Once it's spent, it's gone. Income created this way solves short-term problems but doesn't build durability. Without assets, scalable skills, or systems that continue producing value, higher income simply supports a higher cost lifestyle. Psychology reinforces this further. Earning more reduces immediate stress, which tricks the brain into believing the problem is solved. Long-term thinking gets delayed because nothing feels urgent. People tell themselves they'll focus on freedom later, after the next raise or milestone, not realizing that each increase often makes change harder, not easier. None of this happens because people are careless or unmotivated. It happens because the system rewards visible progress and hides structural weakness. And as long as income keeps rising, It's easy to confuse motion with momentum, even when nothing is actually moving forward. If earning more doesn't automatically mean winning, then the solution isn't to reject income, it's to change what income is being used for. The most important shift is moving from income-focused thinking to position-focused thinking. Instead of asking, "How can I make more money this year?" the more useful question becomes, "Does what I'm doing improve my long-term position?" Position is about leverage, flexibility, and resilience, not just cash flow. This starts with redefining income itself. Income is not proof of success. It's raw material. When used intentionally, it can buy time, reduce future dependence, and create optionality. When used passively, it disappears into routines and fixed costs that must be supported again next month. Winning financially means using income to build things that don't fully depend on your time. That could be skills that increase long-term earning power, investments that compound quietly, or systems that reduce how much effort is required to maintain stability. These moves rarely feel dramatic, and they often look boring compared to chasing the next raise. Another critical adjustment is slowing lifestyle expansion. Many people earn more only to lock themselves into higher monthly obligations. That raises the cost of change. Delaying some upgrades, even temporarily, preserves flexibility and makes future decisions lighter instead of heavier. This approach doesn't require quitting your job or taking extreme risks. In fact, stable income can be an advantage when paired with intention. The difference is awareness. You stop assuming that higher earnings equal progress, and start evaluating whether your choices are increasing control over time and money. Winning isn't about speed, it's about direction, and direction is set by how deliberately income is used, not by how much of it comes in. The difference between earning more and actually winning rarely shows up quickly. That delay is what makes the confusion so costly. In the short term, two people can look almost identical on paper. They both work, they both earn more each year, they both pay their bills and appear stable. From the outside, there's no obvious sign that one path is better than the other. Life goes on without drama, which makes it easy to assume everything is fine. But over time, the gap begins to widen. When income growth is used mainly to support a growing lifestyle, flexibility quietly disappears. More future earnings are pre-committed to fixed expenses. More time is locked into obligations that can't easily be paused or adjusted. Any disruption, a job change, a health issue, an unexpected responsibility, feels heavier, not because it's extreme, but because there's little margin to absorb it. This is how financial stress often shows up later in life. Not as collapse, but as rigidity, fewer options, less room to step back. Decisions feel heavier because the cost of getting them wrong is higher. People may be earning more than ever, yet feel more constrained than before. By contrast, when income is consistently used to build leverage and flexibility, the long-term experience looks very different. Progress feels slower at first, but it compounds. Skills deepen, assets grow quietly, income becomes less fragile, time slowly decouples from survival. This is where discipline and consistency matter more than intensity. Big moves are rarely what create freedom. Small, intentional decisions repeated over years quietly reshape outcomes. The people who win financially are often the ones who made patient choices long before the results were visible. Winning isn't about a moment, it's about trajectory. And trajectories are shaped by how income is used long after the excitement of earning more fades. Most people don't lose financially because they didn't earn enough. They lose because they spent years confusing movement with progress. Earning more feels like winning because it's visible, it's measurable, it's praised. But winning financially is quieter than that. It doesn't announce itself with promotions or pay raises. It shows up as reduced pressure, as lighter decisions, as the ability to pause without panic. This isn't about rejecting ambition or pretending money doesn't matter. Income matters, effort matters, hustle has a place. The problem only appears when earning more becomes the only metric guiding decisions. When higher income is used to maintain complexity instead of creating control. Winning means your life becomes less fragile as time passes, not more expensive to maintain. It means your future doesn't depend entirely on repeating the same level of effort forever. It means income creates options instead of obligations. There's no single moment where someone suddenly starts winning. It's the result of dozens of quiet choices made consistently. Choosing flexibility over immediate comfort. Choosing position over appearance. Choosing direction over speed. Most people never make obviously bad financial decisions. They make familiar ones, reasonable ones, and they repeat them long enough that those decisions harden into structure. By the time the structure feels heavy, change feels risky. The goal isn't perfection. It never was. It's awareness. Noticing whether your income is building something that lasts, or simply resetting the month. Noticing whether earning more is actually improving your position, or just raising the cost of standing still. So here's the real question to leave you with. Do you feel like earning more is moving you closer to control, or just keeping the system running? And what would winning actually look like in your life? Beyond the number on your paycheck? Share your thoughts in the comments. That's often where clearer thinking begins, and where better decisions quietly take shape.